What's good, people? Good old Bernie has taken another stand, a controversial one at that. Bernard Sanders wants felons to vote. Let me just cut it straight. This is an appeal to black voters. Bernie has not really polled very well with the black voter base, and his idea is, he's doing his best, as many of these white Democrat candidates who are all about the identity politics, they're going to play as many angles as they can, obviously them being white, and the Democrat Party having a full-on scale assault on the white race, and in regards to white men in general. Now, of course, I don't care about race and identity and all that kind of stuff. That's not really of my concern. But for the Democrat Party, that's a big concern. Bernie Sanders knows that he has an issue when polling with black people. So, what does he do? Well, he offers up, hey, I think felons should be able to vote. Now, I don't think he said even terrorists should be able to vote, which is insane. But I don't really think he came from the terrorist angle until somebody actually posed him with the question. He had to deal with it. I think he's coming from the whole angle of, look, I want to woo black people. Over in the prisons, you got a lot of black people there. When they leave the prisons, they're disenfranchised from voting. Therefore, to show that I'm down for the cause and down with the black people, look, I'm going to give you guys your voting rights back. Because I care. I really do care about you people. Even though I'll make you guys go into socialism and then obviously take all your wealth, I'll stay a millionaire. Well, you guys will be poor, but that's besides the point. Bernie is like, look, black people, I got you. I'm going to give you your black vote back. That's, I think, his original angle. Until somebody hit him up and was like, what about terrorists? Okay, like the Tsarnaev brothers who blew up everybody over there at the Boston Marathon. I'll give Bernard Sanders respect. At least he committed to it. At least he didn't really dodge and be like, well, I don't know. That's a conversation we'll have. No, he's like, yeah, terrorists can get it too. Okay? I'm aiming for the black people, but hey, terrorists can get it too. I completely disagree in regards to felon voting, except in rare cases. Like, for example, and later on I'm going to talk about how when you go for the felon vote, you also affirm the application of the Second Amendment. All right? So I don't want to sidestep that. But going back to felon voting, somebody who I like and who I listen to is a guy by the name of Dinesh D'Souza, who's a conservative. You see him on YouTube. He speaks at universities. You can see him on different, news channels, especially probably Fox News. Dinesh D'Souza was charged with a felony, okay, for federal elections fraud or whatever it is, and mail fraud and all these things, all felonies. It was all a gotcha game. These are crimes that nobody really ever gets charged with, but because Obama didn't like this Dinesh D'Souza, his Department of Justice went after Dinesh D'Souza, who gave money to a friend who was running for office, and then Dinesh D'Souza also gave money to other people to then give to the candidate. Of course, the officials found out about that, charged him with elections fraud for obviously giving more money than allowable, which I find to be just foolish law. You should be able to give as much money. Hey, look, either you run on your principles and win your campaign based on that, or you don't. Money's not going to change a thing. Either you're likable and you got good policy, or you don't. That's neither here nor there. So he got charged and convicted of a felony. Now, that would make Dinesh D'Souza not be able to vote. That, to me, is foolish. So somebody could lay out some felonies out there and be like, Cheeto, are you saying, well, what about somebody who committed this and it's all right? I'm like, okay. But if you commit a violent felony, assault, rape, gun crimes, things like that, you're done. Okay, you're put on timeout. You don't get to vote like everybody else does, all right? Because you were a threat to society. You're on timeout. You don't get to vote no more. It is what it is. I don't know why this is a discussion. So, but if it's non-violent, we can have discussions. But if it's a violent crime, once you once you violate another person's physical space, physical property, you burn down somebody's house, you rape a woman, nah. Like, that's what you used your freedom in this republic to then assault, attack, and maim other people. Nah, you don't get the opportunity to then vote and change laws that will affect us people. You're on timeout. So, that's just with the whole felon voting thing. But now let's move on to something else. I didn't really see anybody else talk about this, but I thought it was pretty interesting. Bernie Sanders at the town hall event said that, hey, how serious are we about this democracy? When somebody does something bad and then they can't vote, and then somebody else does something terrible. These are his words. Somebody else does something terrible and then they don't get to vote. He's like, that's a slippery slope. And so I heard him out on that. I'm like, okay. But then almost instantaneously, something came to my mind. If you do something bad, or as Bernie says, something terrible, and you losing your ability to vote is a slippery slope, how then does it make sense that somebody over somewhere else in another state in America does something terrible with an AR-15, and therefore now I lose my right to be able to use a rifle, semi-automatic, pistol, whatever? I lose my right. How is that not an even more slippery slope? You see, Bernie Sanders is arguing in favor of, look, if the individual does something bad, they should not lose their democratic right. So then how is it that if not myself, the individual, but somebody else, another individual does something terrible, then I get to lose my democratic constitutional right? How does that make sense? So what I'm saying is, I find it funny because Bernie is arguing, his argumentation actually affirms the Second Amendment. Terrible people should still be able to get to do the things they did before. Therefore, terrible people that did something terrible with the gun do not violate other good and upstanding people being able to use their guns and being able to defend themselves. Because nobody ever talks about all the millions of legitimate uses of guns for the purpose of self-defense, as the CDC studies showed. Nobody ever talks about that. We only talk about the people who are killing people, who are going to kill people regardless of whether you ban the guns or not. Gangsters aren't going to self-regulate their guns. Thugs aren't going to self-regulate the guns. The only people who are going to do it are people who actually respect authority, law-abiding citizens. They will turn their guns. And even some of those people ain't going to turn their guns anyways. I don't care what you do, because there's not enough cops and FBI agents, federal agents to send to everybody's house to confiscate all the guns. So it ain't happening in America. I think over in New Zealand, the lady did the whole gun ban. I think like within the first couple of weeks, only 37 people turned in their guns. And like, it ain't happening, bro. So anyways, that's really my thought on the whole Bernie voter thing, felons voting. Really, I believe it's an appeal to black people. Democrat politics again, hey, we want more of the black vote, therefore we're going to call the GOP and white people, they're all racist, vote for us because we're the good white people, we're the non-racist white people, they're all the racists over there. Hey, we know all, the black felons, there's a gang of you guys over in prison and you guys feel you're disenfranchised and oppressed, so therefore we're going to give you your voting rights back. Black people, we care about you, we're the good white people, we're the non-racist white people, we're the white people who want you to have your vote back just as long as you vote for us. Because of course what they don't also tell you is that the studies show that felons, prisoners who are polled in all these different prisons and whatnot, I was reading some article on the Washington Examiner, and it was like in one state it was 7-1 Democrat versus Republican registration. In another state it was 5-1. In another state it was 6-1. So Democrats know the game. They know that the majority of these felons who come out will be voting for them. If it was the other way around, they would never be for this. So it's just completely self-interested. It's about self-interest. It has nothing to do with really the actual people coming out and their democratic right to vote. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with, hey, we see a voting block that is being, suppressed. And that voting block would go for us. So let's, take away the oppression and get these votes so that we can, cinch up a voting block to ensure our seats in the House, in the Senate, and potentially, of course, in the White House. It's really easy. It's not even that hard. But that's my take on it. Another appeal to black people, and just coincidentally, an appeal to the Second Amendment not being infringed just because somebody else did something terrible. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about my thoughts. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit the notifications bell. I'm losing subscribers at a pretty interesting pace for some odd reason. I haven't posted videos for like 7 months, kept the same subscriber amount. Just started posting videos last week, and boom, my subscriber count is systematically, I'm losing subscribers every day. I have no idea what's going on. So unless people really got angry that I started posting again and decided to unsubscribe from my channel, YouTube's messing around and doing something. It is what it is. It's their platform. I'm just here doing my thing. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you guys on the next one. I'm out.